Hello and welcome to my podcast in English number 13. Today is the 29th of no, not December yet, 29th of November 2019, and it's a nice rather sunny day here just outside Lyon in France, and I'm going to the theatre tonight, so that's going to be really nice. Looking forward to this. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit rusty. It's been over a month, far too long, almost 2 months. Today is going to be a short one, sorry, but I'm going to talk about my works in progress, a finished one, and a little bit about this year's holiday season. So, if you're a returning viewer, I'm so happy to see you again, and thank you for waiting. I had planned more or less, I thought more or less it was going to take some time for me to get back to you since I had a very intense show season this year. And for those of you who are watching for the first time, my name is Annette Petavi. I'm a Swedish crochet and sometimes knit designer. I'm living just outside Lyon in France, and I've been living here for over 30 years now in different areas in France, but I'm married to Frenchmen. My children are grown but speak both French and Swedish. Apart from designing, I also teach classes here in France, and I have a website where you can find my designs and designs by other independent designers in pattern form, as well as some lovely yarns. So that's the website. There is a blog. There is also a newsletter, a monthly one with a crochet tutorial each time. And I will, of course, put links to everything below so you can check it out and subscribe to newsletter or to the blog. You can also find me under my complete name on Instagram and Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. So if you like the video, don't hesitate to give a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. If you click the little bell, you will also get notified when I put a new video up. So I have been traveling a lot, so this means that it's hard, since I'm a one-person operation, it's hard to keep up with everything. But as planned before, I have started a new series in my newsletter on the fundamentals of crochet. And here on the channel you can find the links to videos regarding the traditional starting chain. And I'm also putting in the link to the October newsletter where I discussed other ways of starting a crochet project, alternatives to the starter chain, essentially what in English is known as foundation stitches. And those are very interesting too, and I found one on Rachel Henry's YouTube channel, which is something I've never seen, like a foundation slip stitch chain. So don't hesitate to click the link below and check out all this information. So today I'm going to discuss both crochet and knit projects. Otherwise, on this English channel I try to concentrate on crochet, but when I knit as well as I crochet, and my knitting informs my crochet, especially design-wise. So I still think it can be interesting to discuss both. And the first one is a crochet project, and it's not my design. This is an idea of Susan Carlson of Felted Button. You have seen it before. This is my trio blanket. And now it starts to get big. So this is the start. And this is, let's say, about the middle, because there's less than a third left. So for measurements and things, I'm all in metrics. So I started out with 3 balls of the wool Skeppius yarn. So each ball of wool is 1,000 meters, so that should be like 1,100 yards or something, at least. So 3 balls, 3,000 meters, and I just weighed what's left, and it's like 60 grams per ball left. So with times 3, little calculation, I have another 800 meters to crochet to get this baby done. So it took, so let's say I have 2/3 on the way. I started this in July, so I've been working for it for August, September, October, November, like 4 months. So if I keep up the work, knowing that this is kind of a background project, perhaps by the end of January, I'll have finished. I won't put that as a goal, but it could be a possibility. So this project I find very interesting because it's a very simple stitch pattern. I had worked it before, also using this idea of working 3 different colors and changing at the end of every row. If you haven't tried it, do it. Just give it a try and you will see that the yarn you need, the color you need, will always be waiting for you at the end of the row where you have to change yarn. So it's very convenient to work 3 colors like that. And Susan Carlson's genius idea was to work 3 gradients, so 3 yarns that change color. And this makes this simple stitch pattern so much more interesting, both visually, because I mean there's really something like a Monet painting or something very special going on here with the gradients evolving and changing their interplay. Sorry, that was my phone. I had to put it on silent. And it's interesting visually, but it's also much more interesting to work, because I don't know if I had used solid colors, I don't think I would have finished this blanket, but now I will. It's also an interesting idea for a scrap blanket, of course, if you have lots of leftovers in a similar weight of yarn. But lovely project. So as I said, this is kind of my background project now. So what is my background project? It's a kind of mindless project as well, that I can pick up and put down whenever I want. So I've been working quite a bit on this during shows, because during a craft show or fiber show, there are always slow times. So this is something I can pick up and put down whenever I need to. And this is also my current project when I'm a bit tired and I don't want to think in the evenings. So this is something that will go on in the background, and I hope to be able to show you my progress again. Well, let's say perhaps not next time, but in not too long. Sorry, I will just I thought I put this on silent. Now it's in silent mode. Okay, so more works in progress, and this is not a work in progress actually, it's a finished one. So this is knitting. Now we're going into the knits. This is the Equa shawl. My excuses for my Latin pronunciation. Cowl, sorry, it's not a shawl. This is something to wear around your neck. I'm going to put it on because it looks kind of weird like this, but when you put it on, I think it's super nice. So this is not at all my pattern. This is what I call, sometimes I do make something that I call it a training pattern. It's when I, sorry, I think the autofocus is a bit off, but it looks better now. sometimes I just want to make something to see how it's done. And this was a project I saw on the Lanae Tricot podcast. So Lanae Tricot is a podcast from a young woman who has a yarn shop in Grenoble, which is quite close to Lyon. So I met her once, I think, but I follow her online. And if you don't speak French, of course, following her podcast in French is not easy, but you might speak Spanish because Anna is Spanish and she also makes videos in Spanish. So I put in the link to her YouTube channel below. And she had done this in a very, very different yarn because it was a grey. I think it was perhaps a little bit semi-solid, but it was a grey. And this is really vintage yarn for my stash. I had 2 balls of a mini mochi, which was a yarn from Crystal Palace Yarns that I both used and sold for years, but which is sadly discontinued. So these are the last 2 balls of that yarn. So the pattern is, need the glasses to check it. It's the Aquay cowl by Hilary Smith Callis. And I'm putting in the link, of course. It's a pattern that's available on Ravelry. It's really fun to make. So I made this to see how it was constructed. So, well, it's the details are in the pattern, of course, but as you can see, you work this on the bias, which was a lot of fun and very interesting. Of course, when I work something like this, I think, wow, am I going to use this technique or this shaping and adapt it to one of my designs? Exactly this one, I don't think so. It's really nice, it's lovely to wear, but Hilary did it, so I don't have to do it again. However, this has had me thinking about how nice it is, this kind of smaller project, a cowl, just to wear around your neck. I also think it's very interesting to have this, I mean, round cowls are really nice, but to have this pointy shaping, because, you know, when you have a coat or something, there is always this space like here, when you get cold, if you wear just a scarf. And this is really, really good idea to have this point tipping down. I've seen it, of course, in other patterns. And I think I will come back to the general idea of this, not knitted on bias, not necessarily knitted, perhaps crocheted, but the general idea of this cowl going around your neck with a point down in the middle. I'm sure you've seen lots of them there. This is the first one I made, but it's a shape that is quite popular. And I think it's really nice. It's a really good idea. So if you have been on the fence of working a pattern like this, be it in knit or crochet, just go for it because it's really nice. And my final work in progress that I started just this past weekend when I had, I was in Paris. We were 4 friends together. We had rented a store and we did a pop-up store in Paris. And it was lots of fun. But during the weekday, it wasn't really busy. So I felt I needed to start something new, something I have planned on doing for a long time, which is leg warmers. So these are knitted in Zaberwool 100, which is the Zaberwool I carry in my shop. No, autofocus will not work. Okay, sorry. I'm going to put it here. Might be much better. So this is just a twisted 1x1 ribbon knitting and just knitting around it in jersey. No, not jersey, that's French, in stocking stitch. Total linguistic confusion over here. So this pair is in knitting, but I have seen really nice leg warmers crocheted by my friend Annie, um, and with also one ball of Zaba ball. So I'm going to finish this in knitting and see how it works out, and then I can base my crocheted version on the knitted one. I'm going to do these in 3 sizes and also explain how I calculated the sizes so that anyone can adapt to their own calf circumference, which is the decisive measurement for this type of leg warmers. At first, I thought I'm going to put this down because the needles are clicking. I thought I was going to shape them a little bit because, you know, your calves are generally larger or wider around than your ankles. But my friend Olivia, who was with me at the pop-up store, said no, because then you cannot pull them down over your shoes. And I did some investigations, and even though there are shaped leg warmers, many leg warmers are just a tube. And I think this is what I'm going to do, stick with, at least for this version. And I plan actually to wear them with dresses, because I currently wear quite a lot of dresses with ankle boots, and then it would be so nice to be able just to put on a pair of leg warmers to give either just a pop of color and of course some warmth, because it's winter after all. So, and winter, that's the problem with dresses in winter. Even with really thick tights, you're often a bit cold between the hem and the boot. So this was my idea about this, and we'll see how I can change it then into a crochet pattern. This will probably be a really cheap pattern that will be free if you buy it with a ball of yarn from my shop, and cost like €2 or something like that on Ravelry. So these are my current works in progress, and I think I'm going to take them with me on an upcoming unplanned trip, and this is where we get into the topic of the upcoming holiday season. This holiday season, this month of December, will be a bit different than planned and a bit different than usually. I usually in December do a crochet advent calendar. I love this project. I started in 2013, and the crochet advent calendar is completely free, and it's done on my blog and in both English and French, because I have an English language blog and a French one, and also the communication around the advent calendar takes place in a specific Facebook group that I create for the occasion. And I have more and more people participate in this throughout the years. I know it's a very popular thing for a lot of people. We work 4 small projects with 1 step every day from Monday to Friday. So it's feasible even at this busy time of year. And then I run some special offers on the weekends. So that's a wonderful project, but I will not do it this year because I need to go to Sweden for some personal issues. My parents, who are elderly, are also now very poorly. And this happened like 3 weeks ago. So a lot of time and energy have gone into setting up a care system for my parents, because they can no longer live independently. They're still at home, but they have help from the public help services, actually, 4 times a day and once per night. So it's quite a difficult situation. I'm very lucky that my parents are in Sweden, where there is a really good system in place, and that they live in a place where we have had really a good response from the public services. But they can only do so much, and some things have to be taken care of by me or my brother, but he cannot do everything. So I'm leaving. This has, of course, run parallel with all the shows I've been doing this past months. And so I haven't been able to plan and to prepare as I usually do the advent calendar and everything I do normally in the month of December, gift ideas, etc. I will be in Sweden from the 3rd to the 13th. So during this time period, there will be no shipping of physical products. And the last order date for physical products for shipping before Christmas, which doesn't necessarily mean that you will get it before Christmas, but that I will ship it out before Christmas, is at noon Paris time on 19th of December. I will be back for that week, in the beginning of that week. So from the 16th to the 20th, I will ship out any physical orders that have come in during my time away. Also note that there is some serious strikes planned in France as from the 5th of December. So this is why I want to talk to you about a very good option. Of course, I mean, PDF downloads work as usual. That's no problem at all. But if you want to give a gift, I will put a link down below to the gift certificates on my website. So these are mailed out as PDF. I manually personalize every gift certificate according to the specifications you give me when you order it. But this can take, let's say, 2 or 3 days instead of 1 or 2 normally, but I will read my emails and check up on orders every day when I'm away. So that's a good alternative. And for the rest, well, this year my family needs me, and I'll do better work-wise and business-wise next year. It's just the way it is. It has been really nice chatting with you today. I am wearing the Popeye shawl by Eclat du Soleil, which is available as a PDF on my website. I will put down the link below. Here it is worked in my lovely, lovely mohair and silk yarn. It's a yarn that's spun in Italy, and I have selected some really vibrant colors. There's new stock on the way if you want another color. I still have quite some red left. I will try to record again before the end of the year. I will not say before Christmas, but before the end of the year. Until then, I wish you a very lovely month of December. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, and have a nice time even if you don't. And take care of yourself and of your family. We'll stay in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye.